The signal came at 0347 hours, Greenwich Mean Time. Not a greeting. Not a request. A declaration. Admiral Varric of the Dominion Armada had transmitted the same message to 43 civilizations across 6 galaxies. The translation was clean, simple, and absolute: surrender your world within 1 planetary rotation, or cease to exist. 43 civilizations had surrendered. The 44th was humanity. Varric stood at the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion, a vessel 3 kilometers long and bristling with enough firepower to crack a moon. His fleet, 217 warships, hung in high orbit like a steel curtain drawn across the sky. From the surface, humans would see them at dawn. 17 points of reflected light, 2 large and 2 still to be stars. He had given them the standard courtesy transmission. He had even waited an extra hour, a generosity he had never extended before. Something about this species made him cautious. He couldn't explain it. 43 victories had not dulled his instincts, and his instincts were whispering. The response came at 0407 hours. 20 minutes after his ultimatum. It was audio only. One voice. Calm. This is Commander Ethan Cross, Earth Unified Defense Command. We received your message. We've discussed it. Our answer is no. A pause. You have 30 minutes to leave our solar system. Varric stared at the speaker panel for a long moment. Then he did something he hadn't done since his first campaign: he laughed. Not from amusement. From disbelief. Scan their surface, he ordered. Full military assessment. What are we dealing with? The answer came quickly. Primitive kinetic weapons. Chemical propellants. Fusion reactors, barely controlled. Nuclear warheads, crude, slow, predictable. A handful of orbital defense platforms, old and poorly maintained by Dominion standards. They have nothing, his tactical officer confirmed. Their most advanced weapon is a ballistic missile network. Atmospheric fighters. No energy shields. No gravity drives. No quantum disruptors. Varric leaned back in his command chair. Then they are brave fools. Shall I begin planetary bombardment? No. He thought for a moment. Send the assault wave. I want them to see what's coming. Psychological submission before physical destruction, it always breaks them faster. 40 warships broke formation and descended toward Earth's atmosphere. Commander Ethan Cross stood in the underground command center buried 300 meters beneath the Swiss Alps. Around him, a dozen screens displayed real-time satellite feeds, radar signatures, and trajectory models. He had not slept in 31 hours. He didn't look it. He was 38 years old, with the kind of face that had been tested by things that didn't appear in any official record. He had commanded human forces in 3 conflicts on Earth before humanity had unified under the threat of the stars. He understood, better than most, the difference between courage and calculation. This was calculation. 40 hostiles entering upper atmosphere, his radar officer called out. Descent trajectory confirms assault pattern. They're not bombarding from orbit. They're coming down. Ethan nodded slowly. They want to frighten us first. Sir, that's actually a problem for them, isn't it? He almost smiled. Yes, Lieutenant. It is. The alien warships were impressive. Each one was 200 meters long, angular and dark, radiating heat signatures that made his thermal sensors scream. They descended in a perfect wedge formation, aimed at the Northern Hemisphere's major population centers: Moscow, Beijing, London, New York. They were designed for civilizations that fought from space. Clean, distant, geometric. They had never fought something that preferred close range. Execute Plan Horizon, Ethan said quietly. The world answered. From beneath the ocean surface off the Atlantic coast, 47 submarines simultaneously launched. Not nuclear warheads, those were too slow, too predictable, exactly what the Dominion scanners were watching for. These were something else. Modified railgun projectiles, accelerated by electromagnetic coils, topped with shaped charges designed by a team of engineers who had spent 4 years doing nothing but study the theoretical weak points of alien hull materials based on the spectral analysis of their transmissions. Humanity had known they were coming. Not the exact day. But they had known something was coming for 11 years, ever since the first signal was detected from the edge of the solar system. 11 years was a long time. Long enough to dig. To hide. To prepare. The first volley hit 2 of the descending warships before their point defense systems could even register the threat. The projectiles weren't energy, they were mass, moving at 4.2 kilometers per second, and Dominion shields were calibrated for plasma and beam weapons. The kinetic impact tore through the lead ship's engine compartment with almost embarrassing ease. It fell. Not destroyed. Fell. Tumbling, trailing fire, punching through cloud layers and slamming into the Norwegian Sea. The second ship exploded outright. Then the sky became very loud. From mountain ranges across 3 continents, surface-to-air platforms, disguised for a decade as weather stations and communication relays, opened fire. Not the primitive missiles Verek's scanners had identified. Those were decoys, maintained invisible, designed to be found. These were the real ones, hypersonic, AI-guided, with terminal phase maneuvering that made them almost impossible to intercept. Human aircraft rose from underground hangars. Not the old jets the Dominion had catalogued, but a new generation, atmospheric superiority fighters with hull geometries reverse-engineered from every alien craft fragment that had drifted into the solar system over the past century. They weren't as fast as Dominion ships. They didn't need to be. They were on home ground, in a gravity well the alien pilots hadn't trained for, in weather conditions that screwed with sensors designed for the vacuum of space. The 40 descending alien warships suddenly found themselves in the worst possible tactical situation, committed to an environment they hadn't prepared for, against an enemy that had prepared for nothing else. In 11 minutes, 9 of the 40 were down. On the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, the tactical display had become a catastrophe map. "We've lost 9 ships," his officer said, voice shaking. 11 more are heavily damaged. Their weapons are kinetic, Admiral. Our shields are not calibrated. Recalibrate them. It takes 40 minutes for full retuning. They're firing faster than. Pull back the assault wave. Silence on the bridge. Verek had never said those words before. In 43 campaigns. He said them now. "Admiral, if we withdraw now." "We don't withdraw." His jaw was tight. "We regroup. From orbit. Full bombardment array. Level their surface." He was reaching for the sure option. The clean option. The option that removed all variables. But then the second report came in. The orbital platforms, the ones his scanners had dismissed as outdated, had been a distraction too. While his fleet's attention was on the descending assault wave, 8 of his orbiting vessels had been struck by ground-based mass drivers. Not the ones on the official Earth Defense Registry. The ones that had been built in secret, in the dark side of the moon, over the course of a decade, disguised as mining operations. The humans had put weapons on their moon. Of course they had. 2 of his cruisers were venting atmosphere. One had lost propulsion entirely and was beginning a slow drift toward the gravity well. 20 minutes. It had been 20 minutes since the assault began. Verek looked at the tactical display for a long moment. He thought about 43 civilizations. About the pattern. About the ones that had surrendered without firing a shot, and the ones that had fought briefly, hopelessly, and lost. He thought about his instincts, which had been whispering since the beginning. He opened a channel. The response to his hail came in 4 seconds. The same voice. Calm. Unhurried. Commander Cross. This is Admiral Varric. He paused. He had never said what he was about to say. I am requesting a cessation of hostilities. To discuss terms. A long silence. You're welcome to send a diplomatic envoy to Earth's surface. Unarmed. Standard atmospheric entry corridor will guide you in. But Admiral? Another pause, shorter this time. The rest of your fleet leaves the solar system within 6 hours. That's not a negotiating point. Varric closed the channel. He sat for a long moment in his command chair, on the bridge of the largest warship in the Dominion Armada, looking at a blue planet that had just, in 20 minutes, fundamentally rearranged everything he thought he understood about warfare. Plot a withdrawal course, he said quietly. For the fleet. Sir? You heard me. In the command center 300 meters beneath the Swiss Alps, Ethan Cross leaned back in his chair and looked at the ceiling for a moment. Around him, his team was still running, still calculating, still tracking 200 alien warships that were, slowly and unmistakably, beginning to move away from Earth. His communications officer looked up. Sir, did we just? We bought ourselves a conversation, Ethan said. That's all. He stood up, straightened his jacket, and reached for his coffee, which had gone cold an hour ago. He drank it anyway. Some battles were won with railguns and hypersonics and a decade of preparation hidden in plain sight. The next one would be won with words. He was, if anything, better at those. Somewhere in the Dominion's historical archives, 44 years later, a single annotation would be added to the file marked Earth, case closed, surrendered. Case status amended. Subject did not surrender. Do not approach.